Hello, my name is Beth Kille, and I've been working with playwright Jackie Bradley, both behind the scenes and as a member of the band in Comet Boy the Musical. We are thrilled to be able to offer you this limited time free viewing of the film in hopes of reaching as many people as possible with our message of mental health awareness and suicide prevention. We want to take a moment to acknowledge the contributions of so many of you who've donated generously to make the production of this film possible, and also acknowledge the financial support of the Madison Arts Commission and Dane Arts. If you've not yet had a chance to make a contribution, please see the Venmo and PayPal information at the bottom of your screen. Thank you so much for tuning in, and enjoy the show.
I feel his presence, as if I'm not alone. I've had that feeling so often since he left this world. Every time I listen to this song, Comet Boy. So today, once and for all, I have decided to take all the materials and memories I have written down over the years and make a video diary of my journey with my Comet Boy.
I see a comet streaking by. Could that be you up there in the midnight sky? Here for a season and gone too soon. I swear I see you playing on the moon.
Once, when I was putting on my makeup a few days after his death, I could swear I felt his hand on my shoulder, a warmth, gentle pressure. And he was saying,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Please don't be sad.
I'm okay.
I'm okay. Do I imagine these things? There have been other messages sent to me and to others who knew and loved my Comet Boy. I choose to believe he lives on some ethereal, metaphysical, otherworldly realm, sending signs, playing tricks, just as he did when he resided in the physical.
You blazed into my world so unexpectedly, radiating light like a celebrity. Your wounded spirit, only I could see. You wanted nothing more than just to be.
Have you ever had someone so extraordinary come crashing into your life and then leave as unexpectedly as they came? Like a comet blazing to Earth, creating a brilliant light and then burning out too soon. Someone so unique. You just had to say, what the fuck was that? That's how Comet Boy came into my life.
Your aching soul was so far beyond my reach. You had so much to give, so much to teach. Tormented by the demons that you kept inside. And then you let me in that night. You cried.
first, I considered our meeting to be serendipitous. In retrospect, perhaps not. If I believe things happen for a reason, there is a divine plan. I am certain our fortuitous meeting was life-changing for me. Knowing him transformed me to a late bloomer with new dreams, my heart and mind open to brave possibilities and an appreciation of so much and so many. I'll never forget the day, that summer day, when I began my search for a remedy for my failed attempt at recording my piano music. Today, I know I was looking for a producer. After calling 5 studios with no luck, the 6th studio, bingo. A male voice answered, bursting with energy.
Hello? How may I help you?
I stated my problem, saying that I wasn't a studio's usual client. I was a grandma with white hair who plays elevator music.
I'm a keyboard guy. I teach kids. I can help you.
Perfect. My CD included 20 piano solo oldies. I reserved session time at the studio where he worked, never imagining the journey that lay before me. That first endeavor to create a record ultimately resulted in 11 more. After his death, a song we co-wrote and one I wrote for the record Comet Boy won a Madison Area Music Award, an accomplishment I never considered possible. Sadly, one I couldn't share with him. That first day when Comet Boy came into the recording studio, he was wearing a black t-shirt, black slacks, black shoes, and white socks. He was polite, charismatic, and ageless. I had no clue how old he was. Somewhere between 20 and 40, possibly. It turned out he was in his mid-20s. I was 60-something. He could have been my son, or even my grandson. Never in my wildest imaginings did I consider a strong connection would grow immediately. We were intuitively in touch. We were on the same page creatively, although he inspired me to reach higher. We could communicate without speaking. His prodigious inner child spoke to mine, arousing something long dormant that kept me from behaving outrageously. No more. The antics that ensued. We were both sensitive about our ages. He resisted leaving young adulthood. I fought the notion of elderliness. In fact, to keep from lying about my age, I declared my age to be forever 69, allowing me to cling to the silly idea that age is more than a number. He, my Comet Boy, taught me that age truly is just a number. His repertoire for finding ways to have adventure was inexhaustible. He led me on escapades I never would have known if I'd chosen to spend my time reading or playing bridge or knitting. I, on the other hand, gave him glimpses of how my generation rolls. He embraced it. He was an old man and a child. He introduced me to my first gay bar. After a symphony concert during the holiday season, he was feeling particularly jovial. He said the night deserved further celebration and that I was in for a treat. The bar was just a few blocks from the concert hall. He walked at his usual fast pace, I skittered on the icy sidewalk in my black patent pumps, not considering the broken hip my grown kids were sure that I would eventually experience. He occasionally held out his hand when I slipped or slid on the ice. When we arrived, he held the door for me. I eagerly entered that friendly place that was decked out in all things holiday, including Santa hats that were being sold for a fundraiser. He said he'd buy one if they had it in yellow. A typically silly thing I would expect him to say. No, only green and red. We had just found seats at the bar when a young man appeared with a yellow Santa hat. Seriously? Delighted, Comet Boy happily made a donation, and the hat was his. He proudly wore that hat for the rest of the holiday season. I confess some of the adventures had me fearing we might be arrested, and my name and age would land in the local newspaper along with his. But the excitement was so exhilarating that I cast caution out the window and allowed myself to experience once unfathomable people, places, and events. I began to let life happen. Well, within reason. There were times when I'd shift into the adulting mode, imparting upon him my wisdom and knowledge that came with having birthdays. He tolerated it, even seemed to appreciate it. The night of the rainbow clock caper was one of those times. His unique view of the world had him infatuated with the diminishing stock on the shelves of a supermarket in the process of going out of business. He would periodically visit the store and shoot pictures of the shrinking inventory. I accompanied him on one of these documentary photo shoots. Entering the store, he noticed a rather tacky plastic rainbow clock hanging on the door of the utility room next to the store's entrance. He reached up, taking the clock, saying,
I'm going to steal that clock.
No, you don't do that. This is how it's done. Are you the manager? I'm going to steal this clock. The manager smiled, asked if I'd like a bag. I believe Comet Boy was impressed. Lesson learned.
He was ageless, he was timeless, old man and a child, complicated, underrated, he was jaded, crazy, wild. I saw rain and clouds, he saw sunshine, everything was brighter through his eyes. I left my world, walked in his, each step a new surprise. I'll never met someone like this. Each step a new surprise. When I saw the world through his magic eyes, oh, the shapes and hues, like a rainbow, a psychedelic point of view. Through his kaleidoscope, everything just looked brand new. We laughed at sad things, cried at glad things. He saw life in a way far beyond my comprehension. Play was work and work was play. He would love me, then forget me, come back to love again. He kept his heart protected, cast his feelings to the wind. I never knew how he did. Cast it all into the wind. When I saw the world through his magic eyes, oh, the shapes and hues, like a rainbow, a psychedelic point of view. Through his kaleidoscope, From this point of view, the world has changed for me.
Oh, there were rough times, but the crazy and creative moments far outshone the dark and sometimes sad. An unexpected trigger would turn him in a moment. His eyes would go black as storm clouds, and very agitated, he would get in his car and speed away. I learned that would not be the last I'd hear of him. I sometimes wondered why I put up with it. And yet I never considered ending our friendship. Probably because I recognized him as a tortured, talented, brilliant, loving gift of a human, with so much light to offer those who were willing to let it in. A particularly memorable return from missing in action came with a phone call at 8 o'clock on a Friday night. I picked up the call to hear his excited, ready-to-roll voice.
Are you busy? I'm on my way over. I'm just driving across the bridge. I want to walk the perimeter of all 3 malls on the west side of town.
This was exactly the sort of adventure I would expect him to concoct. I had no plans and I needed to get some steps in that day, so I agreed. The first 2 malls were uneventful, but the last revealed a component of his being that I had never seen. We were near the end of the first lap when a young kid came running out of the Tweenie Girls store. He latched onto Comet Boy's arm, asking what he was doing at the mall. He brought to mind a happy puppy who had just spotted his master. The boy was one of Comet Boy's guitar students at the music school where he taught. He was the most likable kid that age I'd met in a long while. He was humble, sweet, energetic, and adoring of his teacher. Comet Boy explained our mission and invited him to join us. Very anxious to leave the girls' store, he asked his mother if he could walk the perimeter of the mall with us. She seemed more than willing to allow it. With his arm looped around Comet Boy's, kind of like they did at Oz when the 4 were off to see the wizard, we were off to see the mall. A 14-year-old kid, a raucous man-child, and a grandma. Coming to the end of the second lap, stopping in front of a Build-A-Bear store, he shouted,
"Hey, you want to go in here? You want to build a bear?"
The kid clearly had outgrown Build-A-Bear years. No thanks, been there, done that, he said. But the mission would not be thwarted.
Sitting all alone in an oddly empty bar, feeling very low and very small. The gin wasn't helping, didn't have a thing to do, so I went to the mall. The mall was full of happy, it was better than a drink. The lights were bright with music everywhere. The food court smelled like tacos, didn't need a freaking thing except a cuddly bear. The Build-A-Bear store is where I love to be. I can choose the friends I want to make. I tell them what to say, they never let me down, and my heart, they'll never, never break.
We went in. Comet Boy chose the flat body of a black bear and filled it with fluff, laughing hysterically as the fluff flew around inside the stuffing station. With the help of a female employee who seemed fascinated with our trio, he recorded a message.
"Hello, I'm a black bear. You want to be my friend?"
He never will desert me, no matter what I do. He'll stay with me until the very end. Every time I squeeze his paw, he always says to me, "I'm a bear, you wanna be my friend?" A happy Build-A-Bear with a heart inside his chest, never argues with anything I say. Sitting on my bed, he's there when I come home, and I know he'll never go away. The Build-A-Bear store is where I love to be. I can choose the friends I want to make. I tell them what to say, they never let me down. In my heart, they'll never, never break.
He inserted the recording inside the furry fellow's paw, and we continued on our way, finishing lap 3, Comet Boy cuddling and cooing to his new friend. We returned the boy to the girly store, where we said goodbye, and left them all, heading to my house to watch a few episodes of 6 Feet Under. It was then I glimpsed an element of my complicated friend's soul that I had never seen before. Walking into the TV room, he laid the bear on the sofa, pillow under its head, and covered it with part of his coat, saying,
You're safe here. Go to sleep, my little bear.
The scene was so unexpected. The sweetness of the moment left me speechless. Then, as if snapping out of a trance, he said,
So, what episode are we on?
a couple of hours later, after tiring of 6 feet, he picked up his new friend, cuddling the bear and whispering in its ear. Tears welled in my eyes. The bear incident reflected so much more than a goofy adventure. It exposed his kind heart, his need to be unconditionally loved, to be able to count on someone forever who would never let him down. I had been privileged to enter a secret chamber hidden deep within this remarkable human. That would not be the last I would see of this tender-hearted, kind, and sensitive piece of his soul. Seeing Comet Boy morph from a confident comic to reveal a sensitive, vulnerable piece of his soul confirmed what I long suspected. Comet Boy hid many secrets behind his smile. There were rare times when he allowed me to see beyond his self-deprecating, deflective humor. He had confided instances of being bullied as a kid, of being tied to a slide at a family picnic and rescued by a cousin who became his trusted friend for the rest of his life. There were times when he'd perceived that someone whose friendship he valued was avoiding him, devastating him for days. He could be out enjoying a pleasant evening when a passing stranger would mutter a hurtful word. That hurt would turn to anger and sometimes result in a reaction. All of these events were stuffed into a secret space where his smile kept them out of view. Comet Boy reflected the sad clown paradox. Often people who make other people laugh for a living or just to get by struggle with challenges and issues that are no laughing matter. So Comet Boy put his pain and anger and joy into his music. He loved to listen to it, to teach it, to write it. He wore his happy face, his funny face when he worked with clients and students. He loved his kids and often declared,
I'm changing the world, one kid at a time.
I believe he was. But he hid his pain so well. so very well.
Your smile reveals so little of all you're going through. Your eyes reflect a sadness that always follows you. Hoping for acceptance, you wear a happy face, feeling isolation in that lonely place. A man's deflective humor made the whole world laugh. Now engraved in stone is this, his epitaph. Behind a smile, this tortured man lost his way. The tears that fell within his heart told him not to stay. A mystery, the look in your eyes. I wonder what's behind your smile. Is it telling lies? A thin disguise, a mask you wear, hiding all the secrets that you don't share. If only I could see what's behind your smile. When Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa all those years ago, he created an illusion in all his tricks so no one would know what's behind her smile. What's behind her smile? Will we ever know? A mystery, the look in your eye. I wonder what's behind your smile. Is it telling lies? A thin disguise, a mask you wear, hiding all the secrets that you won't share. If only I could see what's behind your smile. What's behind your smile? What's behind your smile?
Comet Boy loved our city parks. He'd sometimes call me from the birdhouse at the zoo, or the habitat of an exotic animal that intrigued him on a given day, and share the status of that creature. Now there's a bench in the zoo's park with his name on it. It was a memorial given by his parents, a bench where I sat to honor him on the 1-year mark of his passing. I'm not sure if I most treasured the times I succumbed to Comet Boy's antics, or the times when we sat in silence, sharing powerful moments. Once, after a recording session, he asked,
You got anything planned after this? Can you go to Obrick Gardens with me? I want to see the Thai Pavilion. Have you ever seen it?
I told him that I had not, that my friend Rose, who died too young, loved the Thai Pavilion. I often regretted that I never went there with her. Rose was a free spirit, a creative who was always open for fresh new adventures. In fact, sometimes I thought that Comet Boy came into my life to fill the emptiness she left. After Rose's death, her co-workers donated a bench to the Thai Pavilion with her name on it. I told Comet Boy about Rose's bench. His expression exploded into one with wide eyes and a broad smile that was his signature when he was delighted beyond words. I loved when he smiled like that. It showcased the space between his front teeth that made him look like Quentin Tarantino, Comet Boy's favorite director, screenwriter, and actor. He shouted,
I know exactly where that is. It's at the end of the Dragon's Head.
The November day we visited Rose's bench was gloomy. There was a hint of winter in the air. I wasn't wearing sensible shoes, making the walk along the dragon a bit treacherous. Comet Boy took my hand, carefully leading the way to the head of the dragon, etched in rocks leading to the bench.
There it is, Rose's bench.
We sat on the bench, not saying a word in November's chill, warmed by the silence. He just gave me my moment. The next summer, a year before Comet Boy lost the fight, we were walking a bike trail. He was enumerating a thing he loved to do, each of the records we had created, critiquing each one. When he got to number 7, Vamps, I was laughing so hard I had to stop walking for a moment. That project had been the only one that had caused great disappointment and an insight to his stubborn nature, as well as mine.
Vamps. It was like a bad stepchild. You keep sending them to camp, but they never come home any better. And it almost caused a divorce.
Comet Boy suggested we take a turn off the path and walk uncharted territories. After wandering neighborhoods without a compass, we were lost in a cemetery. We walked among the monuments and headstones, reading them, recognizing familiar family names, wondering at the young ages engraved on some, speculating on what brought these people to the end of their lives, feeling reverent. We found a bench near the edge of the graveyard where we would make our exit, but first we sat on the bench, once again in silence, watching the sun go down. Comet Boy's silence was different than when we sat on Rose's bench. It was comfortable, but different.
Don't talk, can we turn down the chaos? We don't need to speak at all. Sit on a bench in the graveyard, wait for nighttime to fall. My mind is so craving the silence, still I wanna be with you. Conversation is so overrated, sometimes there's nothing new. Let's watch the sunset, wait for the moonrise, see a dazzle of stars in the clear midnight skies. Words only complicate, only confuse. A mind full of nothing to use, or share endless silence with you. The noise in my head keeps on screaming, please make it all go away. Trying to leave it behind me, words always get in the way.
The summer he gave in to the demons that tormented him. Comet Boy's days were fraught with frustration. His efforts to succeed seemed to him thwarted at every turn. Work at the studio wasn't going well. He was handed some professional disappointments that shattered his dreams. It seemed no matter how hard he tried, the goal was always beyond his reach. Resentment grew. He could see his friends moving on with their lives, getting married, having babies, getting good jobs. He was deeply and negatively impacted by a movie, Melancholia, which sent him to a dark place for days. Music by his favorite singer-songwriter brought only sadness. Some relationships floundered. It was hot. He hated to sweat. He wore his happy face less and less, reflecting something dismal I couldn't identify. This confused me. Yet I wasn't able, or perhaps willing, to realize that these things were foreboding of things that were to come. I didn't want to believe he was coming undone. I didn't see Comet Boy as often that summer. Oh, I dismissed it as a result of our separate vacations and busy schedules. He kept in touch by texts and phone calls. Some of these calls came in the early morning hours and were cries for help. However, he wouldn't be helped because my suggestions were met with resistance. You can't make someone do what seems to be the reasonable thing to do. He apparently just wanted the safety of not being alone, being in a comfortable space. The last call like that came at 2 a.m. on a Saturday. He asked,
Can I come over now?
"Sure. Where are you?"
I don't know.
"Well, yes, you can. I'll be waiting." He called back, this time crying.
20 miles away from home. And I just want to go to the hospital.
I'm in bed. Where are you?"
I'm driving around. I don't know where I am. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I'm lost. I'm supposed to open the store tomorrow. I have a wedding gig in the afternoon. But I don't have the strength.
"You're more than welcome to come over now, but if you could please try to go home, get some sleep, open the store, play the gig, and I promise I'll take you to the hospital after that." The next day at the hospital, I could hear every word the admissions person asked and his answers. Finally, the question, "Are you suicidal?"
Sometimes.
His answer took my breath away. For a number of reasons, the system failed Comet Boy, or perhaps he wouldn't allow it to help him. I try not to blame the system. That was a month before he gave up. He called me before he completed his stint at the safe house where he was transported from the emergency room. He was scheduled to be there for 5 days.
I'm getting out of here. Will you come and pick me up?
Well, I'll gladly pick you up, but I have to take you right home because I'm going to see a movie, Magic Mike, with my granddaughter.
Can I come?
Of course. So the three of us went to see Magic Mike. Outward appearances were almost convincing that all was well, but I knew that was far from the truth. That was the last movie we saw together.
I promised I would try. Whoa. But I've been known to tell a lie. Whoa. The truth is hard to say. Whoa. Everything gets in the way. Whoa. Everything gets in the way.
Those last weeks were mostly joyless. I found myself searching for a way to reach Comet Boy, but he had slipped into an irretrievably dark place. It was confusing. Just when I felt like giving up, he would suddenly show up with that signature smile, jolting me out of my discouragement. Near the end, I felt him disengaging. The horse had left the pasture. I would never catch him. No one would. He was surrendering to the pain of the demons.
What if we had never met? What if you had never heard my name? We just have different regrets, standing lost and broken all the same. Wondering why the hell we came. Close your eyes. You know there's nothing left to say. It's time to dream. It's time to dream away. Hearts in hand and arms entwined, down the road together all our days. Doubts and fears and houses divided. This is where we go our separate ways. We're in and out of phase. Close your eyes. You know there's nothing left to say. It's time to dream. It's time to dream away. Sorry, no one told me sometimes love comes in disguise. This cold surprise isn't what I meant to say. It's time to dream. It's time to dream away. Now there's nothing left to say. It's time to dream. It's time to dream away. It's time to dream. It's time to dream away. It's time to dream. It's time to dream away.
A mid-August day served as a cruel reminder that life can be just a phone call away from exploding from perfectly beautiful to painful beyond description. On my way to meet a friend for lunch, I appreciated the beauty of that day. A sunny summer day, my kind of day. I never considered I was about to face one of the worst days of my life. When I arrived at the restaurant, my friend was already there, and we got right down to the business of catching up on our lives. My phone rang. The voice on the other end was my daughter-in-law. I will never unhear her words. She was sobbing that someone had died. I thought perhaps she meant my son, and then I realized she was talking about Comet Boy. I felt like I had been kicked in the stomach. What happened? Suicide, she sobbed. Getting in the car, I didn't know what to do, where to go. Numb and on autopilot, I instinctively went home. Home. There was a message on my phone. It was his mother. Her words were unintelligible, just sobbing. My pain grew hotter. My heart raced. The first thing I thought of was to call his buddy who worked with him at the studio. He lives 60 miles away. He asked if I wanted him to come, and I said it wasn't necessary. But he's not the kind of guy to let that go. I'm on my way, he said. His wife and he were at my door in close to an hour. They sat with me. The floodgates burst. We cried. We struggled to make sense of it, to understand on any level, but couldn't. It's strange how we deal with shock, with fresh, raw tragedy. We lose our balance, our ability to think. It feels so out of body. Late that afternoon, we all thought the best thing we could do would be to enjoy margaritas, chips and salsa at a Mexican restaurant, all Comet Boy's favorites. We knew he would approve. Perhaps join us. We reminisced, sharing stories of his antics, his big heart, his talent and genius. We wondered at the impossibility that just 1 week before, he had seemed the happiest we had seen him all summer. We were celebrating a record we had created, and he cavorted and interacted with the audience, clearly proud of our accomplishment. That was the last time I saw him. The three of us sat shrouded in silence. There were no words to say. I broke the silence. He forgot to say goodbye.
Tell me why you had to go that night. There were still so many songs to write. I'll never know you forgot to say goodbye. You hit it well, I didn't understand. I never guessed you had something planned. Broke my heart, you forgot to say goodbye. Through winter's darkness, you were sunlight. How you loved December's chills. Spring came with the promise of new life. I could see your fading will. I hear your laugh and I see your smile. They will never ever die. But you forgot to say goodbye. I didn't get that you would soon be gone. When you said you had to travel on, I'll never know why you forgot to say goodbye. A long hot summer you felt so alone. You didn't tell me, how could I have known? Comet boy, you forgot to say goodbye. I see your smile. They will never but you forgot to say goodbye. You went away and left me with these tears and regret I couldn't calm your fears. Or was it that you didn't mean to go? Comet boy, you forgot to say goodbye.
The sun rose the next day, and the next, and the next. I visualized the remains of a once hot, blazing flame, now only cold gray ashes. I wanted answers. In my mind's rear view mirror, I can now see that Comet Boy was in crisis that last summer. But I was unwilling to accept the possibility. I continued to hope that his inner turmoil would dissipate and he would be okay. I believe on that fateful rainy night, a number of factors aligned tragically, leading to Comet Boy's decision to end his life. Thinking of those factors brought a lot of what-ifs to light. And with that, guilt filled my soul. After a suicide, I suppose everyone second guesses their part in the event and creating it or causing it or not preventing it. We all want to own a piece of the blame. We know it's not true, but it haunts us. The day before Comet Boy took his life, I was at the studio finalizing our last album with 2 sound engineers. He had resigned before we put the final touches on the record. There was some discussion about why he chose to leave and some criticism of his recent behavior. The phone rang. Caller ID showed it was Comet Boy. And I said flippantly, "Speaking of," and chose not to answer the call. I cannot to this day erase the guilt from that I didn't answer his call or defend him in the conversation. Was it a call for help? It was my last chance to hear his voice. Suicide creates such permanent scars. Some self-inflicted, some not. The next day, there was a concert in town, Flaming Lips. Comet Boy's sister had taken him to it years before. He was excited. He had invited me to go weeks earlier. In fact, he invited many of his friends. I had forgotten about the event. By showtime, the weather had turned cold and rainy. He texted his mother that he had gone alone. Alone. If I had been with him, or if anyone had gone, would he have gone home, set his plans in motion late that Thursday night that ended his life in the early morning hours of Friday? I had to cry out, what if? When I think of the deadly combination of depression, a couple of drinks, a struggling relationship, feeling hopeless, and most of all, alone.
What if you didn't listen to Rufus? Let Fiona bring you down. Let melancholy ruin your week. Would we be doing the town? They slipped into your dark side, took away your light. What if you waited till morning, that sad and rainy night? What if, oh damn, what if? What if there was something I could say? What if my heart cries? What if I had found a way to make you stay? What if I'd taken a left turn, driven out of your sight? What if I took you with me? Would we be alright? What if I picked up the telephone when you called that day? Was there something you needed, something you had to say? What if, oh damn, what if? What if there was something I could say? What if my heart cries? What if I had found a way to make you? I had found a way to make you. I had found a way to make you stay.
The days and weeks and months that followed had me thinking I might have to move away from this place. I'm not a fan of running away, but 6 years of memories and new experiences in this town haunted me. Memories, good and bad, lurked everywhere. At a certain corner, a building, a concert. Going to symphony concerts ranks high among the good times. I had given him concert tickets to a piano concert years before for his birthday. He loved that concert so much that he became my permanent escort. He was always prepared for these concerts, knowing details about the featured artist and the compositions. He would listen with his eyes closed, keeping the beat, his hand on his thigh. He seemed transported to another world. I appreciated that. He said sometimes the music gave him chills. I will never forget the time we were on our way to a concert. I was driving and Comet Boy shouted,
I've got to stop at Walgreens.
Why?
For Preparation H.
Why?
For the wrinkles around my eyes? Just look at them.
When a 60-something woman looks at a dude in his mid-20s at the wrinkles he is complaining about, well, it's just plain funny. But I understood and appreciated his concern about growing old, and into Walgreens we went to get his Preparation H. I did not accompany him to the checkout counter because I didn't want to be suspected of needing that product. 2 weeks before Comet Boy left us, my season symphony tickets arrived. I hadn't told him about it because he had been non-communicative for days. More guilt. I knew I could never sit in those seats again that had been mine since the concert hall opened. Watching Comet Boy and the ecstasy that came over him as he listened made it too hard to bear. I just couldn't do it. I did go back about a year later and take pictures of our empty seats. That somehow offered some closure. Soon after his death, fall arrived. Every fall, he would enumerate with that wide-eyed expression lighting his face everything he loved about it.
I love pumpkin, smell of cinnamon and cloves, apples, apple pie, and yellow. I love fall.
Yellow was his favorite color, and that year, fall was the most yellow I can remember. The flowers, the leaves, the sunsets. Yellow everywhere. A yellow town full of memories.
This town has lost its luster. This town has lost its shine. Long before I met you, this town was mine. You came and turned the lights up. You made this whole place glow. We found adventure everywhere we go. The yellow leaves have turned to brown. Winter's chill is here. The ghost of you is everywhere. Although it's been a year, if I stay here any longer, I'm gonna lose my mind. Gotta travel on and leave this town behind. Lifted up on angels' wings, you must be looking down. The city was your playground, now it's just a town. The chair beside me is empty, still I see you there. But it's just lonely spaces, memories everywhere. The symphony is silent, the movie house is dark. Rose's bench is empty, an old brick park. The market where we stole the clock has closed its doors, it's true. The bookstore that you loved will sell the book I read of you. Now yellow leaves have turned to brown. Winter's chill is here. The ghost of you is everywhere. Although it's been a year, if I stay here any longer, I'm gonna lose my mind. Gotta travel on and leave this town behind. Gotta travel on and leave this town behind.
The numb feeling began to wear off slowly, like lidocaine after a dental appointment, allowing feelings to surface. The reality that I would never see Comet Boy again emerged. That I'd never hear that shrill, cackling laugh or feel that big bear hug he gave when he greeted me. How could he leave without a word of goodbye? Did he really mean to go? So many questions and absolutely no answers. Perhaps I experienced denial before he took his life. I couldn't accept that possibility. But when anger, a necessary part of the grieving process, arrived, it was with a vengeance. along with depression. I was struggling, looking for a miracle when the universe gave that gift to me. I recognized it and listened to the small voice inside. A local favorite, talented singer and songwriter, was offering songwriting lessons. I'd always been intrigued with how it was done, so I signed up. It was there I found my voice. In a way I could reconcile my loss through music, and maybe help others as well. It was through music that I stumbled on acceptance. The reality that I would never see Comet Boy again in this life. Acceptance. Not that I'm okay with losing him, but I know now that he will never come back. And that I can honor him by becoming a piece of his legacy. And that he changed me in so many beautiful ways.
Coming back.
While on a creative and spiritual level, he was an old soul. Comet Boy's inner child ruled much of the time. He brought to mind a Peter Pan. In some ways, he would never grow up. I smile when I remember the day he came over to binge watch movies. He came bursting through the front door, shouting,
Do you have an egg and oatmeal?
"Why? Are you hungry?"
No, I need an egg and oatmeal mask for my wrinkles.
Oh, I was so accustomed to such requests that it seemed pretty reasonable to me. He mixed up a concoction of egg and oatmeal and spread it all over his face, and then settled into his favorite chair for a long night of movie watching.
I'll never make it to 50.
In retrospect, that sounds eerie. At the time, I considered it was a comment on having to do with the way he lived his life, squeezing maximum adventure out of every situation. And a sadly ironic twist. Comet Boy got his wish. In the physical eternity, he will be 30 forever.
Eternity of seasons, always on parade. Never-ending changes marching on. Frozen here in time, I wonder where I'd be if I had waited until dawn. The world keeps turning, tricks around the sun. You're chasing dreams, my dreams are done. Now I wonder if I should have never, 'cause I will be 30 forever. Never knew I'd miss so much, dreading growing old. Still had much to do, my story wasn't told. I regret the night I penned that note. Now I'm just watching, but I don't get a vote. The world keeps turning, tricks around the sun. You're chasing dreams, my dreams are done. Now I wonder if I should have never, 'cause I will be 30 forever. Mom and Dad are growing older, I see the pain they feel. If only this were a bad dream. I'm sorry, oh, it's real. Ooh. The world keeps turning, tricks around the sun. You're chasing dreams, but my dreams are done. Now I wonder if I should have never, 'cause I will be 30 forever.
For 6 years following his death, friends and family celebrated Comet Boy with a tribute show every February, the week of his birthday. Each year, Comet Boy's parents would come and they would speak, offering their appreciation, sharing their memories and feelings. A bit of closure came to me and to others as well when his father spoke about how they had hoped to get back to normal and realized that things would never be normal, but now they accept a new normal. I was so moved. So was the most prolific singer-songwriter I know, During the drive home, she wrote beautiful lyrics and emailed them to me that night. The next day, I contacted my teacher and asked about putting music to the lyrics. That tune became a compass for me in navigating my loss of Comet Boy to suicide.
When you were young, you brought the colors found in the flowers of the fields. Oh, it was normal for you to chase all of the colors you could embrace, to weave tapestries, paint future memories. But now normal has changed to something new. It's the new normal, but it's not the same. You can't come over when I call your name. Your laughter, it can't ring through the air. It'll never be the same, but I'll always care. Because of my new normal, our love is still there. Our love is still there. Now people say death makes the phoenix rise anew. There's new music playing because of you. But if it were up to me, I'd make the old normal do. It's the new normal, but it's not the same. You can't come over when I call your name. Your laughter, it can't ring through the air. It'll never be the same, but I'll always care. Because in my new normal, our love is still there. Our love is still there. Our love is still there.
After a suicide, people are at a loss of the right thing to say, to comfort. But there's one thing that no one should ever say, that suicide victims are selfish or weak. Most of us did the best we could in the worst seconds of our lives. We were as brave and as strong and as selfless as we were able to be in that moment.
Sitting here now, forever changed because I knew Comet Boy, I reflect on how I can make a difference. Suicide is unpredictable, sadly ubiquitous. I have promoted suicide awareness on social media. I've written lyrics. I've organized a tribute show. But I believe the best way I can make a difference is on the grassroots level, one human at a time, face to face. I am certain that change can come about through conversation. Sometimes prevention is as simple as talking and listening. More and more I see that I can make a difference. We can make a difference. I will stop and listen. I will look beyond the smile. I will listen for cries for help. I will be generous with compliments and smiles. Will you? Let's be a light to those who have lost the will to shine. I heard the song you used to sing, and I will sing it. I felt the joy you always brought. Now I will bring it. The power of our love will keep you near. Your memory will live on as long as I am here.
When you went away, my world turned dark. Thought the sun would never shine again. Living here without you seemed impossible. It was so unthinkable, but then I heard the song you used to sing. Now I will sing it. I felt the joy you always brought. Now I will bring it. The power of our love will keep you near. The memory will live on as long as I am here. Going down the path we used to walk. Nothing's changed here, yet you're gone. The sun comes up, the birds still sing, the seasons change, and I'll keep moving on. I heard the song you used to sing, now I will sing it. I felt the joy you always brought, now I will bring it. The power of our love will keep you near. Your memory will live on as long as I am here. I will take all this anger, pain, and sorrow, and I'll try to let it go. I'll let love and forgiveness fill this hole in my heart, even though I miss you so. I heard the song you used to sing, now I will sing it. I felt the joy you always brought, now I will bring it. The power of our love will keep you near. Your memory will live on. I heard the song you used to sing, now I will sing it. I felt the joy you always brought, now I will bring it. The power of our love will keep you near. Your memory will live on. I heard the song you used to sing, now I will sing it. I felt the joy you always brought, now I will bring it. The power of our love will keep you near. Your memory will live on as long as I am here.